I remember very vividly how sitting like on launch day, I was sitting in the live ops room, which is basically a room with a bunch of screens that are showing the server status, and I was watching this graph, which is basically like the player count. So I was just sitting there like completely mesmerized and praying that there wouldn't be a big dip. And there were no dips. The game was stable. The graphs just kept going up, and they were going up, and what a fantastic feeling.
March 2016 marked the birth of Tom Clancy's The Division, kicking off a decade of development, evolution, and experiences, both for players and developers. This is 10 years of The Division.
Apparently, I've said that The Division was a school project with a huge budget. It was a school project in the sense that this was a small team of very tightly knit professionals at the top of their game.
We were small, we were younger, and we had everything to prove, but also this like, I think, joint feeling that anything's possible.
We had the right resources, we had the right technology, we had the right studio and studio network with our partners to be able to really create something magical.
I think we did stuff because we didn't know it was impossible. It was that kind of feeling. You know? We did it anyway.
Massive Entertainment had spent years defining and redefining their first big game for Ubisoft. Originally conceived as a more traditional MMO, it gradually evolved to the action role-playing open-world shooter we know, working in secret under mounting pressure. Soon it would be time to reveal Tom Clancy's The Division to the world at E3 2013.
You know those people that you see in a corridor, and when you see them, you decide to go in another direction? We were that guy. We'd made these big promises, and we were really testing everybody's patience.
Those final weeks up until showing it to the world, I think we kind of felt like, okay, this is special. This can really, really work.
When upper management saw the trailer and they saw the work and they saw the in-game demo, they were blown away. So we were moved during the process of the press conference planning to the very end as Yves' special announcement.
But I have something more to show you today. This game is brought to you by one of the best studios in the world, Massive Entertainment.
Nice shot. Okay, on the right, there he is.
And suddenly my phone exploded and people in the room were just standing up and cheering. And I saw all of the journalists pick up their phones and starting to type, and it was like this magical moment.
A moment that would have a lasting impact. Everyone was talking about The Division. After all the attention at E3, the team returned home. But now was not the time to celebrate and rest.
We're full of energy, but also with the realization that now we have to make this thing at the full scale that we envision, and that's a lot of work.
I thought it was going to be easier to go from 2013 to the launch. I think we underestimated the technical challenge of making a new engine and a very complicated game at the same time.
That new game engine, Snowdrop, played a key role in development, providing the team with groundbreaking capabilities.
The unique technology that we had, and at the time it was nobody else was doing anything like that with the online. Nobody was doing the extraction experience in the Dark Zone that we had. Nobody was pushing open world graphical fidelity on that scale that we have in Midtown Manhattan. And all of that is thanks to the engineers and the artists.
And as that team grew and production ramped up, Massive was joined and supported by several co-dev studios within Ubisoft.
Working with Massive on the first game was amazing. They have this confidence that is both inspiring and scary at times. They have their own way of doing things and a push on quality that's different from how other teams work.
But they also knew that there was just too much damn work to do, and so Red Storm was really excited to be able to partner with them. They gave us a lot of creative freedom to create the Dark Zone. I felt chills every time I jumped over one of those fences and went into the Dark Zone and heard those sound effects and just knew that, man, shit was about to go down.
Nice, nice. Okay, last one. He's down.
There was something magical going on, and I think the whole team knew it.
Seeing all the updates every time we were playing, we were just getting goosebumps, and we knew we were sitting on something very special.
March 2016 marked the game's release and its instant success, becoming Sweden's largest cultural export that year.
So Division 1 broke records for Ubisoft. It broke industry records of day one sales or week one sales for a new IP.
It really resonated with people because of the fancy, an undercover agent embedded in society, ready to be activated as the last resort to save society.
And you pair that with a core gameplay experience of the co-op shooter RPG in a format of online. Those things combined created the diamond.
I think also what is compelling is the location. It's an iconic location, it's recognizable.
And we transform it completely to players and give them this stage for them to act out as heroes. That resonates. That is something that I think is incredibly universal.
But successfully launching the Division was not the end of the story. It was just the beginning.
The biggest immediate learning was how incredibly creative, smart, and fast the community is at the scale of millions of people.
After we launched the first game and we had some issues with it, it was the community that helped us correct course. We did this update called Update 1.4 when we decided to fix a lot of things, but at this point what was important was the contract, the handshake we made with our players that we are always going to be working with you.
And I remember giving my thoughts directly to the game director. They cared, they listened, and our voices actually mattered.
My feedback wasn't just heard. It influenced the direction going forward. They were inviting us to help shape its future.
After shipping Division 1, we were exhausted. We should have gone on a long and nice break, but there was no time. HQ woke up and they said, hey, you guys, you need to get a bigger office, you need to hire more people, you need to start thinking about the Division 2. And remember, this was the beginning of Division 1 Live, and it was way bigger than we had thought.
While building and maintaining the live game for the Division, another major decision was taking shape. Where was the Division going next?
We landed on DC for a number of key reasons. It's a very, very iconic, symbolic place, but it's also a very manageable footprint. All of these monuments and places in the White House, we could create one-to-one.
The main lesson that we carried over from Div 1 to Div 2 was that if you are serious about making a long-term game, you need to ship with a solid end game.
So one of the things that we knew for the Division 2 is that it was going to be, from day one, a live game. So we conceived it to have not only a campaign, but also a thrilling endgame proposition. And that starts with the invasion of the map by the Black Tusks.
We thought a lot more when we were building the main campaign about what would happen afterwards. How would we expand this to thousands of hours in terms of engagement, in terms of goals for the player, in terms of content.
All of which was made possible by the evolving Snowdrop engine, a growing family of code dev studios, and a close, tight-knit team expanding.
We've been through the trenches together. We knew each other and we knew what worked in terms of building a Division game. And we quickly formed clear goals and we could just go for it.
And after 2 years in development, the Division 2 launched to millions of eager players and critical success, growing the brand beyond games into comics, animation, and books, all while maintaining live support for the Division 2.
We launched with a good game, but there were a few pieces missing, and Warlords of New York was really the kind of the perfect piece of content, but added a whole new story layer, but also completely revamped the end game, and it was a full package that really resonated with players.
This will bring the Division to its knees, and that's when we'll end them, once and for all.
So there was a point where, after Warlords of New York, we were going to do 1 year of content and then stop supporting the game. But the players, once again, showed us their passion. People engaged very strongly with the game, which allowed us to have a conversation of like, should we keep going? Of course we should keep going. So the main challenge was just to rebuild the team, which we managed to do by finding a partner in Ubisoft Bucharest.
We joined the project in 2021, and since then we developed and delivered the Countdown and Descent game modes, the seasons with their climax missions, and more recently the seasonal events.
The collaboration with Massive allowed our team to grow in expertise and demonstrate that we can deliver high-quality, impactful content.
2025, we launched the Battle for Brooklyn DLC, and that has been our most complex release to date.
It's been 10 years since players were first activated as Division agents. A decade of shared stories and experiences with players and developers shaping this world together. And while the development of the Division 3 continues, there's more to come. The Division Resurgence will bring New York and the ancient fantasy to life on mobile. In the Survivors mode for the Division 2, players will have to survive a brutal winter in a transformed Washington, D.C. And the Division 2 is heading into its biggest year of content and support yet.
So year 8 is going to be the most ambitious year we've had on the Division 2. We're going to have a bunch of new seasons coming throughout the year. Each season will come with new experiences, and we have new content with a whole new DLC set on Central Park. We're going to have an incursion, we're going to have classified assignments. The list is so big, and it's going to be the most exciting year we've got to work on.